welcome back to another episode of MJ's Progress Not Perfection. Today's guest is Cecilia, or Cici, as most of you know her. I like to call her Cecilia. Anyway, I met her out in Los Angeles when I first got sober. We talk about, how we met, but she was, always around meetings, and that's where I'd always see her. But turns out, she was dealing with chronic relapsing. It was, she was trying to get time together, and she would get some and then go and get some, and we get into it, and we laugh a lot, we talk a lot. She's doing amazing now, and she's in a new place, and she is, you know, having some ups and downs in sobriety like we all do. But, COVID did not help with that, with the non-socializing part when you're social people, but either way, she's figuring it out. She's sticking to it, and she has a game plan moving forward, which is most important. So, I hope you enjoyed the
Welcome to the
episode.
show.
Hi.
Cece, Cecilia, as rather call you. I know everyone calls you Cece.
Yeah, either
I,
one's fine.
I always say Cecilia just because of a movie I like the name, the name Cecilia. Though you just hit a year sober now?
No, I have 2.5 years. I'll be
2.5.
three. Yeah, I'll be three in February. Yeah.
3 in February. Okay, because the last time I saw you was like August of 2018. And
Yeah.
I know you were like struggling in and out, right?
Oh, so much. Just I'm still like in awe that I'm gonna have 3 years in February, because it was a struggle for me, with relapse. Um, it's just so shocking to me. I'm like, it like every now and then I'll be like, holy crap, I've been like, sober, clean for this long. Like, that's so crazy. Because at one point in my life, I felt like I was not ever going to be able to get into recovery and like actually take it seriously.
Yeah, because like, were you just like in it? Because like when I met you, everyone knew you from my rehab, and it turns out I guess you had spent time at one of the rehab I was at, I guess,
Yes.
before I was there, and then I would see you get like, I swear I saw you get like 3 different 30-day chips in the 4 months in the 4 months that I was there. Like I saw you get like newcomer 24-hour chips a bunch of different times.
Yeah, it was, oh man, it was a struggle. And, I was in where you went, which was called
A new start, and then it turned into Muse.
Yeah, it was a new start and then Muse, right? So when I first went to a new start, when it was called, I can't remember what year it was, but I did inpatient treatment, and I went to their sober living afterwards. And I had about 9 months, and I met someone. They say don't get into a relationship, in your first year. I obviously didn't listen to that, and eventually, this person, relapsed, and then I relapsed, and that's where like that whole cycle of can you see me?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. My stupid. Okay, there you go. Oh my God. Give me a second. It like kicked me out.
Yeah, it got bright all of a sudden over there.
I know. Stupid laptop. This laptop needs like, I don't know what it needs, but so
you were saying you were in and out after you met this dude?
Yes, it was just it just got really bad, and like really toxic, and it was just crazy. And then from that point on, like I would get sober, get clean, and then I would relapse, and I was just, I wanted to be with the person, but I knew I couldn't, because it just wasn't healthy for me. It wasn't healthy for the both of us. And me being, a woman, and like trying to get clean, it's hard for me, the feeling of not being good enough, the feeling of not being able to ever find someone that's going to treat me well because I felt like I didn't deserve it. It was just a lot of back and forth, and me not really, honestly, not being willing to like put in the hard work. Like I just didn't want to, I didn't really want it,
Well, let's
because
rewind. Let's rewind. What was like the first, like, what was your drug before you even got into recoveries and rehabs? What
Mhm.
was it that you were into for how long? That kind of thing. Because like you were young, like you are
Yeah,
young. Still
yeah.
you're young.
My drug of choice was meth. I grew up in a small town in Northern California, so that's what was really popular there. I tried it in high school thinking it was something else, and that's where it just went, whew,
Real
crazy.
fast. Real
Yes,
fast.
real fast. I destroyed my relationship with my parents. Like they couldn't trust me anymore. I have nieces and nephews that I adore. I used to always come around. They stopped seeing me for the longest time. And when I did show up, you could just tell. I lost a lot of weight. I think I was weighing like 92 pounds or something like that. It was, at the time I thought I looked hot. I was like, damn, look at me.
Oh, look how hot I am. You can see my ribs
You
through my
know,
fat.
00, who's this? Not cute at all. You know what I mean? Like, and it was funny because when I went to treatment, I saw these, I gained some weight. We all gain some weight when we go to treatment, right? And I looked at these pictures and I was like, oh my God. At one point in high school, I had someone that would call me Skeletor.
Didn't even realize it. Like
It was,
not even.
yeah, I'm like, whatever, you're just hating. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was bad, and it took me, like I was the one that decided to go to treatment, because before I went to treatment, I was in this relationship that was just super abusive, really bad. That is my issue with relationships. I should have took the advice to not get into a relationship when I first moved to LA for treatment, but I didn't, you know, and it was just because I felt alone, I just wanted to have someone, but I couldn't do that because I didn't know how to love myself, or how to
Yeah.
be with myself. And when you can't do that, you really can't be in a relationship and give yourself all to that person.
Well, you said you have nieces and nephews. Are you like the youngest sibling?
No, I have a younger brother who's 21 years old, who is also in the program, which is awesome, and then I have two older sisters, and they are the ones that have the kids. So I'm the middle child, kind of.
Yeah. You were the baby for a little bit, but then you became the
Yeah.
middle child.
I mean, I'm still the favorite.
Yeah. Well, how old were you when you finally like figured it out? Like, and you were like, I'm gonna do this for real now.
You know, it was in 2019. I remember I had, before I figured it out, I had gone to jail, um,
Well, tell
because
me about that.
because of this altercation with the guy I was dating. It got really bad. For me, it was self-defense, but I ended up going to jail because um, he had the
Marks.
marks. I like bit him because he had me like this. And I went, bit him, and it was in Santa Monica. So fuck Santa Monica. So I ended up going to jail for a week, and had to pay some fines and had to do like domestic violence classes and all that stuff. And throughout that time, I was just like, I need to get my shit together, And so I started to, and then I decided to see this guy again, because that is another addiction of mine, just not putting, not only the drugs down, but like the relationship, because at that time I felt like that's what I deserved, um, and And so I did all that. And so I went out one last time. I remember it. I went out to Santa Monica to go see this person. I got super drunk and we argued. And then I guess I must have drove back to the place where I was staying, my sober living. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because you froze, so I was just making sure. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And so I guess I made it back to the sober living where I was staying at, and I woke up the next day feeling like shit.
It's so funny. You're like, yeah, so I got drunk and then I drove back to my sober living.
Yeah. And like, I do not remember. And one of the girls in there, I guess, the next day I felt really bad and I felt just a lot of guilt and shame. I was like, how am I going to stay in the sober living knowing that I relapsed and I'm just going to be taking like dirty chips like I was doing in the past, you know? I just felt so guilty. I felt so, you know, I felt that desperation. Like, I just don't want to do this anymore, you know? Like I don't want to do this anymore, you know? And so I told them myself at the sober living and, you know, and I told them, I was like, hey, you know, like I relapsed last night, came home super drunk. And one of the girls told me that she saw me and said hi to me as I was walking up the stairs and she couldn't even tell. I was like, really? Because I don't remember that. I was like, oh my God. But I felt so relieved telling them. And so I went to work that same day and I came back and I was like, man, they're going to kick me out. Like, where am I going to fucking go? You know, I can't fucking go back to Muse because they've kicked me out twice. You know, like the option's out the window, you know.
Nicole would have taken you back probably.
Nicole's amazing, you know.
She was on a couple episodes ago, actually.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
I'll be posting it soon. Yeah.
You know, and so by the grace of God, they like let me stay because I was honest.
Yeah, it's not like they caught you. You know what I mean?
Know?
If they would have caught you, but the next day you owned up to it.
Yeah, and they let me stay, and I was just so grateful. And I was like, I cannot fuck this up, you know. And so I called a good friend of mine, Big Mike.
Oh, I love Big Mike.
I love Big Mike. He's been a great friend for me for such a long time. And I called him, and I was like, Big Mike, I relapsed, and he was like, when are you gonna get your head out of your ass? I was like, today. And so he gave me this woman's number to call to be my sponsor, and I called her. Her name is Paloma. I work NA, so I called her and I did everything she told me to do. I called her every day. I think it was at 8:00 in the morning every day. Called her for a straight 6 months every day in the morning. And I just got into the work, you know. I got into the work. I stopped seeing that person that was just not good for me at all. And I started doing my step work. I started going to meetings.
And paid attention at meetings, not going to meetings to socialize.
Right. You know, yeah, I like sat down, paid attention, and I didn't get on my phone, you know. I took it very seriously because I didn't want to keep going the way I was going. Like eventually I knew I was either gonna like die in a car accident or hurt someone, you know, because I'm the type of person when I get high, and if you do something that piss me off, I'm gonna hurt you.
You're reckless.
Yes, I'm a very reckless person, and I just didn't want to be that person anymore, you know. And so I took it seriously, and you know, and issues started coming up with this other person where I could live my life in LA, but like always looking over my shoulder. So
would you see them at meetings?
No, but I would. There was a situation where he would show up at my sober living and stuff like that. I had a restraining order, you know, and all that stuff. And so I decided to move. I decided to move out of LA, and I came to Vegas. I came to Vegas at 6 months clean. I know, right? Vegas, out of all places. I have family.
Well, yeah. Oh, you have family there?
Yeah, I have family here.
The dude I sent you the video clips of the other day, he's out in Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, cool.
He goes to AA though, so you probably wouldn't run into him.
Yeah.
Big Mike is amazing. I remember It was my it was my second day, I think, there in rehab. And I
Mhm.
was 31. And I think everybody went out to a night meeting, and you know the rules, like, you you had to do 3 days before you go to outside meeting or leave the house at all, like
Right.
to detox. So like I was just sitting there like bored and lonely. And he sat down and started talking to me. He's like, "Is this your first time in a rehab?" And I'm like, "Yep." And he was like, "How do you feel about it?" I'm like, "I don't know. Everybody I met is like on number 5 or 6. Like kind of makes me nervous that like this isn't gonna work." And he's like, "Yeah, well, lucky for you, if you stick around till July, you'll see me get 10 years. And I've only been to rehab once, and I was 31 too." So like him and I became like I was always going to him. Like I remember I even went to like some kind of big like luncheon, like some kind of NA luncheon in the hood with him. Like he picked me up and it was like this big like church, you know what I mean? Like in the
Yeah.
middle of like definitely in the middle of the hood. We always went to like the shadiest places with him. Like he always took us to like fourth dimension, like down.
There's some great meetings out there,
Yeah.
because
The sobriety, I feel like the harder you went, the harder you go in your sobriety.
yeah,
Right.
and Big Mike for me was with if I didn't know Big Mike, if he didn't connect me to my sponsor that I have now today, I don't know honestly where I'd be.
Yeah.
You
He
know?
knew. Yeah, he knows the people. He has a great support network, and so
Yeah,
his
and
people like
yeah, and he knew how I was. He was always there when I relapsed. Like he knew the type of person I was, and he knew exactly what I needed. And I needed a tough sponsor, but that also knows how to be kind, and that's exactly what I got. My sponsor isn't going to co-sign my bullshit. you know she's going to tell me what I don't want to hear, but she's
yeah.
going to say it in the nicest way possible, and that's what I needed. And she is the reason why I have this much amount of time, you know clean. you know
Yeah.
uh,
Give yourself some of the credit. You did the work.
yeah, and yeah, me too. Like
You gave it up. You were willing. You surrendered.
he rubbed off that willingness. you
Yeah.
know like she made me want to be willing. you know and I am forever grateful for that. Even when I moved out here, I didn't change my sponsor because I didn't want to. you know and when I moved out here, she's so well connected too with people everywhere. So she gave me some numbers of people that live out here, and I went to this meeting on Saturday called Saturday Night Unloaded, and that became my home group, and I was going there every Saturday because I moved out here and like I didn't have a job yet. So I was just going to meetings and like getting connected and meeting people, and that's how I stayed clean out here in Vegas. you know?
Well, so how were the Zoom meetings when they started up, like when COVID hit? Because like
Well,
were you
sorry,
able to go to LA meetings basically? Were you able to go to meetings with your sponsor then?
I was, but for me, when that shutdown happened, I like isolated so bad. Like I did go to some Zoom meetings, but I got so comfortable doing nothing, you know, and
Oh, I know.
and so it was bad for me. It was bad for me, that whole shutdown thing, not being to interact with people, not going to physical meetings, and for such a long time, it like right now I'm so happy that you reached out to me during this time, because right now I'm like in a position where I'm trying to get myself reconnected back into the real world, because I became so antisocial. I didn't want to go anywhere. When I went back to work, I was like, ew, I hate people right now. Like I just want to be home watching TV on my couch. Like it was just really bad. And I had a few mental breakdowns where I felt like my world was falling apart, but really what was falling apart was like inside. Because right now I have everything that I want. I have everything that I need.
Yeah.
Everything that I have is enough. Like I don't need anything else. You know, and so that COVID thing shut down really like fucked with me. I was like, fuck. And even my partner noticed it. My boyfriend, he's a normie. I met him out here, and he even noticed a change. He even said, he's like, he went from like this bubbly person, outgoing, to like just different, you know, you get irritated fast, you know, and I started to, I started to eat a lot too during COVID, you know, I started to eat a lot. I started to make food and like not healthy food. So like I gained weight. And like for me as a woman, that has a lot to do with my confidence, you know, and so it was just a struggle once everything started to open back up, getting back to work. You know, I changed my job, and I thought that would help, and it didn't. You know, obviously, you know, those outside things that we changed
Yeah, that we tried to,
don't help. You know, at first it does. You know, oh, I love this new job, but then like it starts like it was really me that I didn't love. You know, like I lost that love for myself. So I started getting back into meetings, you know, starting to reach out to people more, and, you know, eating healthier, because that's a huge part in like how I feel, you know, all that self-care stuff that I let go during the quarantine.
Yeah, the basic stuff that they even try to teach us in rehab that you don't realize, like, why are we learning how to brush our teeth again? Like,
Right.
like stupid shit. But really, it's because, like, you know, most people are not functioning addicts. Most people, you know, are losing their teeth or like, you remember Jace?
Yeah, I do.
He just got his teeth back. He just got new teeth again, and he's going to be on an episode soon. And he's thrilled to be able to talk, you know, and have like a full. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, but like, you know, it's those kind of things, like the self-care. Like, I talked to a girl that she's like, you know, sometimes you forget to shower for like 3 weeks when you're in addiction. And I'm like, yeah, eventually it hurts the shower. Like you don't even want to get in because you're so high that your body is so sensitive, whether you're withdrawing or whether you're high, your body is just so sensitive. You get into the shower, and it's like pins and needles.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, they were forcing me, you know, to basically get a shower. And she actually, I posted earlier, hers, I mean, I'll show you. It's the craziest I've ever seen, you know, a before and after look, to be honest with you. Where is it? Where is she?
I wish I had a before and after. When I went into treatment, I deleted all of my pictures. All of them. Wow. It's crazy.
Down to 70 pounds.
This is insane.
Yeah.
You know, I still kept one of my pictures, but I deleted them all. I was so ashamed. You know, after like getting out of detox and like looking those, I was like, delete. That just never happened. You know.
It's so funny because like I was the same size then in addiction as I am now. Because all I did was opiates and all I did was pills, and they retained water. So it's not like I was like losing weight because it would just hold everything anyway. So like the only thing, the difference is from my before and afters is my face isn't bloated and I'm not all blotchy, because some of the oxys. Yeah, well, some of the oxys will make me break out every time. Oh. There was a specific brand that every time I snorted them, my face broke out in hives. Obviously, it's not going to stop me from snorting them if it's the only ones I can get. You know, my question, like, hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Oh, which kind you got? V's? Damn. All right, I'll see you in a little bit. You know, it wasn't going to stop me. It was just going to suck. You know, and it is what it is. Wait, so how long then did you go then off and on from when you started in high school? Like I don't even know how old you are. You look 25. The same. Okay, I was gonna say you look the same.
Thanks.
So okay, so you went a solid like 6-7 years then.
Yeah.
Like with meth and, you know, drinking basically.
Yes.
And was that the only time you ever got arrested? Was that time where you beat them up?
Yeah. So they say.
But at least you didn't like get arrested at home with your parents.
No, but my mom did put a restraining order on me one time, which I didn't blame her. You know, back when that happened, I was so mad, you know, so pissed. But like now I look at it, I'm like, damn, like I get it. You know, like I wasn't.
Were you living at home at the time, or?
Yes, it was long before I moved to Los Angeles for treatment. And I was just not following their house rules. I was damaging things inside the house, and she kicked me out. You know, out of my parents, my mom will not take that shit. Get your shit and get out.
Yeah.
And
I got 2 other girls just like you.
And so I totally get why she did that. Like I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Back then I did. I was like, wow, really? You're gonna put your daughter who doesn't have nowhere to go? But if I was in her shoes, I wouldn't want me in there either. you know?
How's your relationship? How long did it take? Because you were like, so, and when you were in LA, that was for like a couple years before you finally like started getting it then?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were off because like it was Muse in April 2018 when I got there.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't there. You had already been there twice by the time I was there. Then is what you're saying?
I think so. You know what? I can't even tell you an accurate timeline because I was relapsing so much.
It was basically like you were just like there living, but
I was
not
like
so...
there, but like not there.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth. Like there is just some things, like certain parts during the year where I can't remember anything.
Yeah.
I
always remember that you were always cool with like Anise every time you saw her. Like
I
you guys.
love Anise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still talk to her too.
Love Anise. She's
Yeah.
awesome. And Amanda. Did you know Amanda when she was there?
Amanda was not there when I was there.
No.
It was Anise. It was some girl named Jess who I guess ended up relapsing. Remember Jess?
She worked there.
Yeah.
I think I do.
I think she was like taking money from patients though, and like she had relapsed, and she got fired. I don't know. I don't know the full story because I wasn't there when that happened. But yeah, I mean, I had a great experience there though. They were all amazing there. But you were there, I think, when they were at the old place though, right? Before they moved.
In that house on Braddock.
That was a sober living you were at?
I was there. Yeah, I lived in that house, the one that was across the street from the men's house, that big yellow one.
Oh, see, okay, that was before because that turned into high sobriety. I lived at high sobriety in that yellow house that was the men's house, and then they combined the men's and women's to live in the same house at the one you were at.
Oh, yeah, and then way before that, before I came back the second time, they had the women's sober living, like near Culver and Washington Boulevard, I think it was, somewhere over there.
Yeah, that was the old house that they were like working on. They were trying to fix it up when I was there, but nobody was living there anymore because they had put all the guys and all the girls in the same sober living because they need a high sobriety to have our own because of our meds. Our meds being, medical cannabis. We had to have them locked up in the back room and everything and all that shit. But, it was a lot different even then than it is now, I think, because it's been like all new people that are working there. I'm just glad I haven't been back to rehab since.
That's good.
I was so far one and done, but I still do talk to Big Mike all the time. Like I see him on Snapchat. He's always posting like the longest stories, and I'm always busting.
I know. I always send him stupid shit. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah,
So how was it going through your steps on an honest way this time as opposed to the first time you did it and you had 9 months?
It was great. I had I'm on step 12 right now currently. It was great. My fourth step, I wasn't scared of doing the fourth step, but I didn't want to do it because when I did my first fourth step ever, it was read. Someone read it. My ex read it and like shamed me for it. So for the longest time, when I would get a new sponsor, go to my fourth step, I just wouldn't even do it. And then I would just go out and relapse.
That makes sense. Yeah, because the fourth one is all about resentment. So if
Right.
you're resenting somebody,
you don't feel good about, and then having someone read it and just throw it at your face, it was horrible, so I didn't want to do one. But this time around with my current sponsor, she just made me feel so safe. She made me feel so loved, unconditionally. And so I did it, I did it with no problem. And it was the greatest feeling ever,
yeah.
especially that
Do it,
last, go ahead.
no, doing that fourth and then saying it, and doing the fifth and actually talking about it, and not having it thrown back in your face, as it was the first time, and somebody's still accepting you. It's a great feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it was my sixth step that I was like, oh God, I fucking hate this step. Just writing about all your character defects, like
I had some problems with mine.
that was such an intense step for me. Like, and I was on that step when I moved to Vegas. And so I couldn't it was so hard to like do it. And so I went to my meeting and I spoke with this woman, and she was like, why don't you write all of your character defects on a piece of paper, put it in a jar, and pick one out each day and just write on it? I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So that's what I did. And that's how I got through my sixth step.
Was there like one on there that you didn't want to like get rid of because like you felt like it was not really a defect or something, or?
No, not at all. Like, I knew all my character defects. I knew that I had them, and I knew that I had to. Our character defects will never go away. We're human beings. We're gonna act out some days, and that's normal. So I never felt like I felt like all those defects I had were, I was like, yep, because every time I would write on one, I could think of a situation, when I acted out on that character defect. And what I really did like about the step is like what spiritual principles you can replace with them, and then after you finish that step, you can start to see, like, when you're about to act on something, instead you replace it with the spiritual principle, which I thought was really awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of taking that pause, that step back, and be like, wait, I can act. Wait. Calm down.
Yeah. You don't have to always follow the first thought.
Right.
The first thought is like, what I mean, the most crucial one that you have to worry about.
Yeah, it's those first thought that got me in the worst situations, and acting out on them. So the sixth step for me was like hard to do for me, but it was also very cool to see how it evolves in your life, after doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these, all of the steps, they're so crucial. It even says, like, not an, you don't have to be an addict or like an alcoholic to like do these steps. You can just do them just to become a better person,
Learn who you are, get through some of your shit. You are,
and see if if there's some things you have to change, it's for everyone's well-being, which is really cool,
I've said it, a lot, and I'll keep on saying it, that whoever wants to go through the steps, think about what's making your life unmanageable and just replace the word in the first step with whatever's making your life unmanageable. Yeah. And the rest will fall into line. I mean, the NA steps, that's a lot of work. You have like the workbooks and everything?
Yes. So many questions, but I love how thorough it is.
Yeah.
I love, because I have worked steps in AA. I started off with AA. I was in AA when I moved to LA, but I couldn't wrap my head around that damn big book. I could not. It just wasn't for me. So I switched, and NAs were like, it felt like home to me, and, even though I used anything. If you had anything, I would use it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you were like that in sobriety too, because I still saw you at AA meetings.
Right. if I were to be somewhere right now and I was in a pickle and I felt like I needed a meeting and all there was an AA meeting, I would go to it.
Yeah,
I would go to it. You know, we're all here, whether you're an AA, CA, NA, you know, MA, CMA.
yeah, yeah. What I
We're all
see, Marina. That's where I used to always see you.
yeah, and you know, and we're all going to these meetings for one reason only, you know, to stop drinking and stop using drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, I just have to look at the similarities, right? So if I go to an AA meeting, I'm here because I don't want to fucking relapse. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the thing is too, like, you know, you're going to get actually like more recovery by actually hopping around too. You know, because you're going to hear different kind of messages also. You're not going to just be hearing the same kind of cliches thrown around in one room all the time. It's good to just expand and go out, even if it's go to other NAs and not just go to your home group,
Right.
because then you're going to hear new things. Because a lot of the times when you only go to your home group all the time, you end up just hearing the same thing like a rerun, like a lot of
Right.
like regurgitated stuff.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
where else did I always see it? Jocelyn. I used to see you at Jocelyn all the time on Thursday nights for
Oh,
NA.
yeah. That meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a great meeting to go to for NA. Like they were flush too. They were always like, I remember it was like May and they made the announcement they paid the bills for the rest of the year already, like because of the collection that they would get.
Yeah, a
Like
lot of people go to that meeting. That one and their five and dime one on Friday nights was
I never
also.
went to that one.
Yeah, that one was a good. That one is a two speaker meeting. So it's a 5 years and 10 years.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't think I've ever. Maybe I did go to it once. Friday nights, I think I was around Santa Monica a lot, but no, that was Santa Monica. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's all.
I believe it started at 8 o'clock, that one. And it was a 2 hour meeting. About 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's okay. That's why. I would bounce around a lot on the weekends. I was never in one consistent place. I don't think ever on a Friday. I was at 26 and Broad a lot.
Oh,
Um,
okay. That one.
and then I did go to CA a lot too. I went to CA on Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And what you know about, yeah, you probably went to that meeting when you were there, right?
Oh, yeah. I started going to that meeting when I was actually in treatment when I first moved to LA, because that was the meeting we would go on Saturdays.
Yeah.
It's that one.
Yep, exactly. I think that was the first meeting I was allowed to like go out to
Mhm.
because, I was there for the first couple of days. So, and then by the time I was allowed out was like that night. But it ended up being a great meeting though.
Yeah.
So, I ended up meeting a lot of cool people there and, it was almost like the stories that they told. I think that's what always got me on Saturday nights was hearing some of the speakers every Saturday. They always had great speakers because people that were speaking at CA meetings, they always had a story and a half,
Right.
like, and it's always like, well, I feel a lot better about my past now. You know what I mean?
Right. And yeah, and that's one of the great things about, going to meetings. I know for me, I always felt like I was like a bad person because I did all these bad things, and then you go to these meetings and you meet these amazing people that are just so nice, so kind, and you hear their story, and then you look at them and where they're at now. It's like, wow, that's amazing, because if they can do it, I can fucking do it, right?
Yep.
Anyone can do it, you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know?
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk a little bit with me today.
Yeah, of course.
And I do hear somebody here. It's the maintenance guy. I think I got to go figure this out.
No problem. This was so awesome. Thank you for
So
reaching out.
no problem at
Seriously.
all. I'll let you know when it's up. It'll be next week sometime. I'll probably have you on when I put up like Jace's and Nicole's and everyone like together. That's from
Yeah.
like that I'm doing. So, but either way, I'll let you know when it's up.
Yeah, of course. This was so awesome. This is really cool that you're doing this, and I'm so glad you reached out, because I'm
Thank
in this
you.
space right now where I'm trying to like get connected again, because I worked so much. I'm also a workaholic. I worked so much that I stopped going to meetings, and I was like, no, and then I'm also enrolled in school, right? And then I have 3 animals that I got to take care of, so that's so much going on. And I let my recovery go. And that's my first priority, because if I don't have my recovery, I don't have anything.
Well, check out my other episodes, because there's people that on there. Like, there's, and I know you know Devin. What?
Miss Jillian?
Oh, Jill, that was a good one.
I love her.
Her and I used to hang out at Jules' house all the time, Jules Muck.
And I call her my Jillian. She is, if you are having a hard time loving yourself, you reach out to Jill.
Yeah.
She knows how to make you love. I lived with her actually in sober living.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wait, you guys would have relapsed right around the same time.
I lived with her, and
was that when the one were you at that sober living when you relapsed and they let you stay?
At Felicity House, yes.
Because she told me she relapsed and they let her come back, and she had relapsed in like December of 2018. So that would have been like 2 months before yours then, right? Or a month before yours.
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, I lived with her, and
she's awesome.
She is amazing. She knows how to.
Did you watch that one yet?
No, I had. I watched a little clip on it, but I haven't watched the full thing.
Yeah, she had some, because like we talk, just like we talk, you know what I mean? But whenever we talk in LA and in rehabs and at meetings, it's about like the day. You're not going to ask somebody to go deep into their life when you're standing on the sidewalk smoking a cigarette.
I around a bunch of people.
Yeah, around like all these people. Like I always talk about like Marina when it would be slammed with people everywhere. You couldn't even stand outside because everyone would be smoking. But like Joe, who else did I have? You know Richie, Richard Blair. He's one of the best speakers I've ever seen around there.
Richard Blair.
He got sober at like 20, and he had, but he's got like 20 years sobriety now. He's got a long time, yeah. But him and Nikolai's coming on soon. You probably know him from Marina.
Nikolai.
Yeah. Well, no, he went to late night meetings. No, you know what? You know what though? A lot of people went to late night meetings, and you weren't at late night meetings.
No.
You guys had a curfew?
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't like I could have been to that, but I was a dog walker when I was in LA.
That's
so I
right.
was tired. I mean, I'd walk 10, 12 miles a day.
I was going to say, now that I think about it, every time I saw you, you were walking dogs. Yeah. Whenever I saw you, you always had like a different dog with you.
Animals are my thing, So.
And is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I do that. I am going to school to be a licensed a licensed vet tech. But I want to be a veterinarian one day.
You're still young. You still have plenty of time to.
Yeah, that's my goal, is to like own a clinic, a low cost clinic, affordable for people.
Yeah.
Because all the clinics are just so expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we have dogs and cats and tortoise and.
Yeah, and I think it should be affordable for everyone to be able to take care of their fucking animals. You know what I mean?
I would agree. I would hope so. It's definitely something to work towards.
Yeah.
At least you're working towards something.
Yeah.
At least you're not sitting there like, I don't know what I want to do. I just don't want to drink today. That would be like, you should really find something to work towards. And
some people are like, do I really want to be a veterinarian? Because I work at a clinic, and it's a lot of work. But but I just love it.
And someone said to me, he goes, well, shouldn't I not future trip about that stuff? I'm like, no, there's a difference between future tripping and setting goals for yourself.
Right.
Setting short-term realistic goals and long-term realistic goals. That's not future tripping. That's manifesting what you want. There is a big difference. Future tripping is sitting here and thinking about something that has nothing to do with your life whatsoever, that it's a slight possibility.
I'm so good at
that. the dwelling and the future tripping and you end up getting lost in like, I don't know where, I just can't think straight anymore. It's like, you have to help yourself at some point, because we can't. Like, you have to be willing to do this.
Yeah. For sure.
Obviously, you're an example of that. Like, just because you put yourself in rehab like you did, because you're the one, right? No one made you go.
No one made me go. I sat my parents down. I remember my oldest sister was there with me, and so I was like, I want to go to treatment. And my sister found a treatment facility out in LA. She thought it would have been a good idea just to get out of where I lived in my town. Obviously, I never went back to the town. I mean, I go visit now, but I don't see myself living there.
I'm the same way with my old town in Jersey. Like, I'll never live there again. I go back from time to time to visit certain people, then I get the hell back out of there. But like, I live 2.5 hours from where I did most of my using, all of my buying, all that kind of stuff. All my connections are 3 hours away. And it's like close enough, but just far enough away too at the same time.
Right. I had to get away from all that, like I know myself, I know my personality. I just had to get away.
Yeah, that was definitely the best call, I think, for both of us. Because now we're both in healthy relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My wife isn't a normie. She's one of us. But either way, we are in it. We talk, we communicate, and we both, because I actually drank in sobriety. I actually, it's funny, weird to say. So like 13 months into being clean and sober, I had a drink. And then I had drinks off and on for 9 months. And it was never like, alcoholically. It was like by the pool with dinner, nothing crazy. But then I did wake up with a hangover. And so she quit with me. And that was over 18 months ago. So now it's been over 18 months without a drink, but still 3+ years clean from pills and drugs, which were the reason I went to rehab, was the pills, not the alcohol.
Right.
Like, ironically, I quit drinking for 6 months before I went to rehab because I got mad at my brother and brother-in-law when they were drunk and like arguing. I was like, you know what? I don't want to drink anymore. And I didn't drink for like 6 months. And it's also because it was hurting my liver, like pills and alcohol all the time. So like I had gone 6 months and then I took a drink again because I was about to board a flight to LA to go to rehab. And I'm like, well, I think this might be my last drink for a while.
Oh my God.
And got like a double Jack and Coke and like shot and like a drink. And I was just like 6 a.m. like, oh, what am I doing with myself? 31 boarding a plane to LA, but not for a party, but for rehab.
Yeah.
Right. It's not what I envisioned with, if I was going to go to LA, it was to do stand up, something cool, not to live in a rehab for 29 days with a bunch of strangers that are like.
No, right? Hey, but those strangers become really good friends,
No, they still are, that
great people,
It's so crazy, like how things work out, because the one person there that I got really close with, her name was Taylor. She was from Virginia, like 2 hours from me where I was in PA, and I had even visited her after we both got back from rehab. She had some relapses in there too, but when she hit me up recently, she lives 15 minutes from me, and she has a boyfriend that's like 10, 15 minutes from me now. So even though we lived 2 hours, we got high 2 hours away from each other in our addiction days, we both got sober in LA. And now she happens to live like 15 minutes from me in the middle of Pennsylvania. And like, I live in the middle of nowhere. When I say middle of nowhere, I mean the middle of nowhere. Like,
that must be peaceful though.
It can be, but the meth is crazy around here because it's in the middle of nowhere. So like my sponsee now, are you going to have sponsees? Are you allowed yet?
I was sponsoring a while back, and it was just like they stopped calling, type of thing. So I'm not one to go and chase after another person's recovery. If you want it, you want it. If you want it, you'll call me, I'll answer.
I guess you'll have to start going to meetings so you can start putting out those vibes that people are going to want what you have.
Like I'm not responsible for your own recovery. I'm not gonna call you over and over, because if you want it, you want it. That's what I did with my sponsor. I called her every fucking day. I saw her almost every other day. And
Yeah, my sponsee is here every day, and if he's not here, he calls that, hey, my mother-in-law has, chemo, and she does. They live right down the street. Like, all right, thanks for letting me know. I'll see you tomorrow or whatever. But he's got 3 months clean almost from meth after 15 years.
wow.
And he started at 16, so he was at 31 when he is finally trying it. And when he met me, he's like, "Oh, you were 31 when I got sober? When you got sober?" I'm like, maybe there is a chance like that I could do this.
Yeah,
And
for
I'm like,
sure.
yeah, man, you just, he's about to have his 5th kid and to be the first one he has custody of.
Wow.
So, yeah, good things can happen when you just like follow simple instructions.
Yeah, for
Like, and,
sure.
and they are simple. They one at a time. Nobody's trying to overwhelm somebody.
Right.
Like, I never felt overwhelmed by the work when I wanted to do it. I
Yeah,
feel like
for
it
your
would be
eyes.
overwhelming when you were trying to do it and you didn't want to be there.
Right.
Or like AA, the book was confusing, so you'd feel overwhelmed. But like when you want to do the work, you kind of look forward to doing when
Mhm.
I was like, all right, can we do my step 4 now? Like I wanted to do the actual work
Yeah, for
and
sure.
get through my shit so I had to end up back there again.
Yeah.
So, you
You
know,
know,
hopefully more people will start going to meetings again around your area. Maybe you'll find somebody that's just like you, that's in and out, in and out. They're going to share about it and they're going to share and say they just can't, figure this out. And I keep relapsing and I don't know why. And then all you have to say is give me a call sometime. I was once like you.
yeah, I always, give people my number. Our meetings are all open over here now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's good. They've been open for for like the last 2, 3 months. So,
That's
but
good.
yeah,
Yeah. I think you'll find somebody because that's the important thing too, that helps us stay sober is having somebody that like help out, you know,
right.
and you're on 12 now, and 12 is all about giving it back.
Yeah, and my brother being in the program, and I always prayed for him, and he called me one day and he was like, okay, I think I'm ready to go to treatment. I was like, oh my gosh, are you really? And I immediately called Nicole. I was like, Nicole, can you help me find a place for my brother to go? And she helped me find a place for my brother, one that would take his insurance and all that stuff, and we
She's
sent him off
awesome.
I know, yeah, I was like, I'm gonna call Nicole because Nicole knows,
Yep.
and so
Yeah, that was nice talking to her because I hadn't, I was definitely not going to ask the director about her story. You know what I mean? Like she took me to a few AA meetings, like Pacific Palisades meetings, where like,
oh,
the
I
hoity-toity.
love their Sunday meeting. They have
That's
hell on food. The
that's
bagels. I wish
that's
that
what.
was those damn bagels.
Yeah, she would take us on Sundays, and oh my God, the food! I forgot the food spread was like an entire room of
I know,
like
literally.
buffet. Like you could just walk up and eat like a king.
I know. I love that meeting.
That was a good meeting. There was always a lot of really cool like speakers there, and the Sunday meetings like it was a great breakfast. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's the meeting that she took us to though. That's funny. That's the one we were talking about. That's
yeah,
great. Thank you again. I
yeah.
appreciate
Of
it,
course.
and I'll talk to you soon. And keep an eye out, and I'll let you know when this is out.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.